Hey, I'm in the shower. I'm with my baby. The water been dripping. Body to body. Drip, 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 drip. Drip, 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 drip.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. And today we're going to be discussing something a little bit different from all the other topics that we've just been talking about on the past videos. So today we're discussing about Zimbabwean lesbian relationships. So why we never get as far as all the other races do. I don't know if you guys get what we're saying. Do you guys understand what I mean? Meaning Siwo. We're going to be discussing this topic. Why is it that we never get as far as all the other couples, like cohabitating in harmony, marriage, maybe, stuff like that? So today we're going to be tackling this topic in depth. So yeah, what are you guys' opinions? So what do you guys think about this?
All right, so that's a great topic, Meek. And
It is.
in my opinion, I think that one of our main problems actually starts from the roots of our relationships.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about the roots as in when you first meet somebody. I'm talking about the roots as in things like our culture. We are all aware that our culture is generally not accepting of any kind of LGBT relationship. And it's only a few number of places within our country where it's generally tolerated. I don't want to say accepted, it's generally tolerated. And if you really look at it, most people are scared, or most people feel, they feel intimidated to come out and be who they are and be themselves. So if you're starting with that kind of roots or that kind of foundation, by the time you meet somebody, you already have barriers. It shouldn't really be affecting our society so much as so many other places have been able to accept us and accept our choices and who we are. It's just, I think, lack of education, lack of knowledge, and the fact that the people who do have the knowledge or the people who do have that information are ready to put it out there, but then there's so many consequences that they have to face. So I think if we're talking about this topic, we have to look into our roots. We have to look into the reasons why we even have to get to the stage where the relationships don't work out. We have to look into the reason why, as Zimbabwean lesbians, it's so hard for us to even come out to our families, it's so hard for us to even disclose our sexuality to our friends and the people around us. And then, let alone just being able to be with someone and be yourself with that person. It's a pandemic, in my opinion. What do you think, Minnie?
I agree with Sibo. I'd like to say first that I agree with Sibo. It lies mostly with our culture and family and everything. So since Sibo has exploited that side of the problem, I'm not gonna dwell much on it because everything that she said I fully agree with. So I'm gonna tackle this on the economic end. Like I feel like also our economic contributes a lot to it because most of the LGBTQI people in Zimbabwe that I know, they are not employed. First of all, because the economy is bad, and number two, because of the way they look. For example, butch lesbians or stats lesbians, nobody likes those people. Nobody likes us. Nobody wants to give us jobs, So even the firms also, they are looking for somebody at the end of the day who can provide or put something on the table for them because they are looking for that financial security. So the minute they see that you can't provide that, then they have to weigh their options to think, okay, where's this going to take me? Because let's tell the truth, we're not building castles in the air. At the end of the day, love doesn't bring food on the table, to be honest. So you need that financial security, you need that financial stability. As long as it's not there, your girl is always going to look out there, go out there and find some financial stability because that's just the way it is. That's my opinion. Nick, I'm going to let you say your piece, man. I think you guys have already exhausted like the most important parts. And also, I feel like for our country, they have a certain expectation and something that we grew up seeing everywhere, which is men and women. Anything else that is apart from that is devalued. So they don't really see anything between same-sex people being anything like love. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. So that being said, we grew up with that mentality. Although some of us, grew out of it, some still have it, such that even if we do have a relationship, we could date for like 6 months and stuff like that. And then when it gets to a point where we need to get serious and we need to like maybe move in together and stuff like that, the problems that come with all that is just too much for a person, and they start thinking, is it really worth it, because you're going to suffer persecution, it's going to be discrimination everywhere, your family, you may even be disowned, because this is something that is very much unallowed, unheard of in our country. So you start thinking about all those things, and then eventually you're like, it's not really worth it. Why should I go about? I could just get a man and then have a life, you know what I mean? So those are some of the things that leads to us not having any long-term relationships. It is because that, see what you bro, stop. It is because our love has been devalued. Anything that is love apart from what people know is not really, doesn't have that worth. So that's my opinion. You've already said the most and the most important. I just wanted to add this part of it. So see what you have to say.
We need to kind of dig a little bit deeper into this relationship aspect of things, because we've spoken about how the climate in our country affects us as lesbians. I feel like we also need to also talk about the relationships, like the types of relationships that we end up being privy to, or the type of relationships that we end up in. I feel like one of the issues when it comes to those relationships is dishonesty. Yes, it all stems from these three things that we've just brought up. But then you also, when you're now in the relationship, we have this issue where I can speak, I think, for us as studs, that we find that most of the girls or the femmes or, the lipsticks or however you refer to them these days, they are not forthcoming with their status or where they stand with their partners. I feel like it's, in my opinion, it's the majority of the time we buy into this idea of being with somebody, with that person, without actually weighing out the consequences and what it means to actually be in a long-term relationship with that person, whether gay, straight, lesbian, trans, or bi. We always buy into the idea of being with the person first before we start thinking about the tomorrow or the long term. So this situation is what leads us into these relationships that end up not so successful. You meet somebody, you like their vibe, you like the way they look. Of course, you like the way they look first. You like their vibe. Probably there's someone mutual has introduced you. So you like the person who's introduced you to that person. You feel like you don't want to let them down. You feel like you want to, you want to give it your best shot. Because of course, I feel, in my own opinion, I feel like studs have bigger egos than men in most cases. Uti, when we find something that we want, we go for it, and we're very relentless in that particular sense. That even if the girl is not ready to let you know fully what her status is or where she stands in that relationship, you're still willing to forge forward, or you're still willing to be patient, or you're still willing to consider her, forgetting that your own safety, your own peace of mind and sanity matters in that relationship.
Also building up, because yeah, you said a very important point. And as well, I forgot to mention something that is parents. To be honest, parents also do play a bigger role in this kind of things, because like we have already said, we are sometimes forced by economic issues to stay with our parents because jobs, etc. So maybe let's say your parents do find out that you're actually gay or lesbian and you're seeing someone, because African parents are hands on. I'm not gonna lie to you. They make decisions for you as long as you're under their roof. So you'll be forced to a certain extent, because they don't like what you're in, they don't like what you're doing, they cut it off. They cut it off. You eventually have to dump whoever you're dating, and then yeah, that's it. It will never go anywhere further because they are not accepting. They are not. It goes back to the devaluing point that I mentioned, to say that if it's something that they don't see, that is not between a man and a woman, which is something that is normal to them, it's nothing. So I think Minnie has been too quiet. Yeah, probably actually think that at the end of the day, we as people play the biggest role. There'll always be family, there'll always be society, there'll always be church and all the stuff. But at the end of the day, you are your own person, you are your own self. You get to decide how you want to move forward, because that's going to be your life from there onwards. If you decide that your parents want you to settle with a man, and if you're going to go into that relationship, that's going to be your life. You need to know if you want to live your life, or if you want to live the life that your parents want you to live. So you need to make that decision. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to say, I'm hearing all these issues and they're very big issues and I accept them. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you as a person, as yourself. What do you do? Some people, I just feel like, despite or regardless of the situation, some people are just not loyal. Some people are just not honest. People who lie, people who do anything. Some people are just selfish. They want all the money. You could have a simple life with somebody, but once they see somebody driving in Navara, they want to be in that car, and they want you also. They want both. They want to hold on to both things. These are most of our fams. Okay, this is how they behave. Most of them, they want the goody old stuff, and then they want you to stay on their side too. So you can't have your cake and eat it too, darling. You understand? So these are the things that I want to bring out there for each and every person, that when you get into a relationship, we are not taking ourselves seriously at the end of the day. When all this has been said and done, we are not taking ourselves seriously. The minute you are in a relationship with me, Xibo, or me, then you can see that I'm not providing. Maybe I can afford the luxurious life for you. You're getting into Navaras with guys. This is how they see it from their angle. You know what? This lesbian thing doesn't even exist. These girls, you can sleep with them at the end of the day. That's why they are building rape cases and everything, because they think we want it. They think it's like that. So these are really serious issues that people are getting other people involved in, but then they don't notice it because they're selfish, because they're into good things. If you don't have a job, if you can't afford that lifestyle, don't want things that you kind of live within your means. It's simple. If you want to choose that kind of life, no judgment on it, but you gotta let another kid's person go. You understand? You can't have both. That's all I'm saying.
I just wanted to just add on something small to what Mick was saying about parents, right? We already know that coming out is something that is, it's a whole nother story, it's a whole nother level. I think it's for a whole nother video. But that particular aspect it plays a major part in determining whether somebody wants to settle down or is ready to settle down or is even capable of settling down. I feel like from when you don't have peace within, you cannot have that kind of peace within a relationship or with somebody else who's in a relationship with you. Some of us are fortunate that our families are accepting, or our families are open minded, should we say, right? Some of us are fortunate to be in that situation, but the people who are not as fortunate, I should say, rather, they end up in those situations where it's difficult for you to fully commit, because when we're talking about why our relationships don't work out or why our relationships don't result to something solid or something like marriage, they don't result to a long-term commitment. If you're looking at someone's home, like where they come from or their upbringing, and you see that their family is not a family that's prepared to accept that lifestyle or prepared to accept that person as they are, whether a lesbian, a gay, or a trans, it really affects the way that they view the world. They have this saying that charity begins at home, and we are what we learn in our houses, in our homes. we are product of those things, of those traits, or those characteristics, those characters in our houses and in our homes. So when you are coming from a family that is not accepting, be 100% committed to someone or to give you all in a relationship, because most of the time you're thinking that it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to come clean about it. And that point is the point that everybody dreads in any relationship, whether it's straight, gay, lesbian, bi, trans. Everyone dreads that point because we all know in our culture, from when someone meets your mom or when someone meets your family, it's a whole nother story, you know? It's a whole nother story altogether. So I think that just to add on top of what Meek just said, come back to this opinion about dishonesty, the fact that our ladies are prepared to be with someone, enjoy the idea of being with someone, whether it's the in thing or whether it's really what they like or it's really who they like or who they love, they end up in a situation where they're not being forthcoming about their status. And at the end of the day, you're committed as a start. I'm committed to somebody who doesn't even know whether there is a future or doesn't even know whether I am in their future or I am part of their future, which becomes, I think, one of the worst parts of this whole thing. It becomes one of the worst outcomes of this, of all the things that we've listed.
I also feel like, of course, I have mentioned parents, which is also an important aspect in this relationship thing. But I feel like as well we need to understand really what love means. I feel like my own opinion of love is it comes with a lot of sacrifices. It comes with a lot of you just have to be ready to accept anything that comes. Like once you fall in love with someone, you don't want to hear anything apart from a life built around them, right? So yes, of course, parents, it's very difficult to settle knowing that you don't have your parents' blessings and stuff like that. But like Mini mentioned, it all comes down to the person involved, right? For you as an individual to say, I love who I love and I'm proud of it. I want to prove to everyone and to the whole wide world that this is worth leaving everything for. You understand what I mean? That's love. The main reason why they don't take us seriously is because none of us have actually pushed the boundaries. None of us have actually gone further to say, you know what, I don't care, come sunshine or rain, I'm going for this person. I'm going to be with this person. So it all comes down to us at the end of the day. It all comes down to us. Our choices. Yo, all right. So yeah, I feel like it all comes down to us and our definition of what love is. I would leave everything, honestly. I'm blessed because I have loving parents who listened to me, who understood, not really accepted, but understood. And I'm at a point where I'm thinking to myself that, of course, yeah, I do have parents, but I cannot build my life with. Of course, I have my mom, but I cannot be in a relationship with my mom. And I'm not going to go back and become her kid again. I need to grow up. I need to have a life of my own. I need to have, kids running around and stuff like that. It all comes to me being serious about my relationships and actually showing them to say, this is worth calling love. Devaluing, like I've already mentioned. I need to put more value on the word and, be proud of whatever I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know who wants to take the stage.
I don't know if you guys still have burning up opinions whatsoever.
That's us talking our shit.
To everyone that watches our YouTube channel, thank you so much for your support and please continue supporting us. So if there are any comments or questions, please comment right below here. We'd like to know your opinions, what you guys think and everything, and please get back to us. We'll be glad to answer your questions. And this is only our opinions. It's not directed on anyone. It's nothing personal. Please, if you have your own opinions too, please let us know. More love, fam. Until next time, peace out.
Peace.
Peace.